Hello everyone. So today we're going to be doing chair yoga. Yesterday I released a video for just some nice gentle yoga stretching routines that I used to do in the good old days at the Bodyworks gym when I was working at the Royal Oak Hospital. But I mean it's a general yoga class where we were going up and down, on and off of the floor, and that range of motion can be difficult for people to get down and then come back up again. So I wanted to film this video for everyone who still wants to get mobility and flexibility and balance, but they just use a chair instead of getting up and down off of the floor. So if you'd like to join me, I do suggest you grab a sturdy chair, something that does not move. You can use a couch or something like that. Just make sure it's not too squishy so that you don't sink into oblivion while you're trying to use it for your balance exercises and sitting. So we're going to start in the chair first, seated, and we're going to warm up these muscles in our spine before we get into our sun salutation routine with the chair as an assistant. So I'm going to back up just a little bit so you can see my toes. I do want you to sit on the edge of the chair. Feet will be about hips distance apart. I want you to spread your toes out. My cat Smudge is probably going to be joining us at some point. He's going on the prowl for Eve right now, so hopefully they don't wreck too much of my relaxing tone I'm trying to set here for everyone. So first what I want you to do is just isolate your toes. I want you to lift your toes up as high as possible and then bring your toes down to the ground. Lift your toes up as high as possible and bring them down to the ground. 2 more times. Up and down. And last time. Up and down. Now we're going to bring our ankles into it. So these are going to be toe taps. So if you are used to coming to my senior boot camps, then you definitely know what toe taps are. I want you to work on height. Not necessarily speed. You can go same feet or opposite, whichever you want, but I want you to get as high as possible off the ground. You should start feeling your shins burning a little bit. Try to stay up nice and tall. Breathe. Keep going. You'll probably start to slow down, which is fine. Try and keep that height up, 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 up. 3, 2, 1, and relax. You can pull the foot underneath the chair and just gently push down through the ankle, and you can switch to the other side. It'll be the top of the foot that goes underneath the chair so that you can push down. So a few more times here. And good. So we're going to warm up the calves. Again, feet are about hips distance apart, and all I want you to do is lift up the heel off the ground, the toes stay on the floor, and come back down. So you lift the heel as high as possible, push down through those toes, and then come back down. So it's just one, then the other. It's not a fast movement. You're trying to wake up the ankles and the calves and the toes. So you'll probably feel this quite a bit. There's Eve. She's making her fluffy little appearance here. And good. Now we're going to bring in the knees. So trying to stay up as tall as possible. Don't lean back in your chair. I want you to kick one foot forward and then the other. One, then the other. Core is active the whole time. Try not to kick your cats as they walk by. Breathe. Shoulders are relaxed away from the ears. A few more times. And good. Feet are about hips distance apart. Again, make sure you're on the edge of your chair, but don't fall because it's the first few times your body's like, where's the chair? We're going to be doing sit down squats. So I want you to stand up, squeeze your glutes, push your hips forward, and then sit all the way back down. The chair does not move, so don't worry. It will be there when you go to put all your weight on it. Push up and come back down. Come up, squeeze those glutes, and come back down. Hands can be wherever they need to be. You can use them if you'd like to get momentum to stand up, but always squeezing the glutes, pushing the hips forward, and trying to be up nice and tall in the torso. A few more times, just start feeling those legs and knees working. Last time, nice and tall, push those hips forward, and come back down. Good. So again, you might have to scooch forward just a little bit because you actually do need the back part of your chair for this one. Hands are going to be on your knees. This is seated cat-cow pose. Like I said, the cats are chasing each other, so they're in hunter mode, so we'll see how relaxing this video can be, if you can even see me. With your hands on your knees. When you inhale, I want the belly to come forward. You're going to push the chest forward and look up towards the ceiling. And when you exhale, I want you to curve the spine back so your arms will be straight, and that's why you need the space behind you. This will be at your own pace. Inhale, arch forward. Exhale, back. Breathe as deep as you can. Inhale and exhale. The more you breathe into it, the deeper you can get into both the front, coming forward, and the back, curving the spine. Coming up nice and tall, shoulders are back and down. Depending on the height of your chair or your shoulder mobility, you might not be able to grab the back of the chair, but I will give you a modification. I want you to inhale nice and tall, and when you exhale, I want you to twist to the side. So the arm that's closest to the back of the chair, if you can grab it, great. If you can't lift your shoulder that high, it'll just be behind you on the chair. Grab whatever you can reach. The arm that's coming across the body is going to come to the outside of that knee, and you're going to breathe into this twist. Inhale nice and tall. Exhale, twist and rotate the body to look behind you. Head and everything. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Very, very gently coming back to center. And the same thing on the other side. Inhale nice and tall. Exhale, the hand comes across the body to the outside of the knee. And the other hand, try to grab the top of the chair, or it can be behind your hips on the seat. Inhale nice and tall. Exhale, twist in the spine. Use your arms. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, twist a little bit more. Breathing through the belly. And on your next exhale, I want you to gently come back to center. Shoulders rolling up and back a few times to stretch out the neck and the shoulder muscles. Good. I want you to sit nice and tall, shoulders away from the ears. We're going to do some arm circles, so make sure you don't hit anything behind you or hit the chair that you're sitting on. As straight as possible, that arm's going to come up over the head. Try to keep it in line with the ears, especially when you go back and you switch to the other side. Lift your arm up and back, up and back. Nice and slow. If you do have shoulder problems or nerve pinching that happens in the neck or anything like that, you do not have to go this high. It might look like this on one arm, and it might look like this on the other. It's at your own level here of mobility. Just try and stay up nice and tall, breathing through the belly. And good. Hands are going to end up on the knees, shoulders pulling away from the ears. We're going to warm up the neck just a little bit. We're going to stretch it at the end. But to warm it up, essentially what I want you to do is do not move anything from the neck down. This is just going to be the head. I want you to bring that head forward into a poke head position, and then I want you to chin tuck in. Just the head comes forward, and then come in as much as you can. Make sure you don't move that torso. It's the skull that's sliding forward, sliding back. Come back to neutral position, shoulder circle. And now we're going to do a shoulder check kind of movement, but without the shoulders that are involved. So again, sitting up nice and high, and just the head, I want you to twist and look over your shoulder. When you inhale, sit up a little taller, and when you exhale, look a little bit more behind you. Still breathing through the belly. Very gently coming back to center. And you're going to turn to the other side. Not the body, just the head. Inhale nice and tall. Exhale, twist, look behind you a little bit more. Very gently coming back to center. Shoulder circle a few times. Good. So I'm going to get you to stand up, squeezing your glutes when you do that. And we're going to come into some movements for yoga. So essentially what we're going to be doing, I'll walk you through it nice and slow, but it is going to be a series and you're going to try and breathe into it. Some movements, especially in the beginning, we'll breathe into it a few times just so that you can kind of loosen up. But then as we get into the sequence, it'll be inhale, exhaling kind of motion. Do not hyperventilate. Okay, take your time with this. I'm just here to walk you through the movements. Your body will let you know what you can do and how fast or how slow you need to do it. So I do want you to stand quite close to that chair. I want you to inhale, reach the arms up over the head. And when you exhale, bring those arms back behind you to open up the shoulders. Hands are going to come together into a prayer position. And I want you to pelvic tuck. So you're pulling that tailbone up and in towards you. Head comes down to stretch the back. Inhale, swing those arms up, reaching as high as you can towards the ceiling. And exhale, bring those arms back behind you. Pelvic tuck, squeeze your glutes. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pelvic tuck. Inhale, reach up towards the ceiling. And on your exhale, those arms come back, and then they come down to your chair. So if you do have wrist problems and this hurts because of the flexion of your wrists, you can make a fist and that makes your wrist straight. So it's in neutral, but do be careful with one. Try it out this way first. I want you to take a step back with the right foot and then the left foot. So you're going to be in a plank position. Squeeze your glutes, core is active. Inhale, drop the hips, chest comes forward. Exhale, push the butt back. You're going to have to walk forward with the feet a little bit, and all that weight comes off the wrist. You can roll the wrists a couple times. It's all in the legs. So the more you push that butt back and the chest towards the floor, the more you're going to feel this in the back of the legs and the hamstrings. I want you to step forward to the chair with one foot, then the other. Squeeze your glutes, roll up the spine, shoulders, back and down. So we're going to do the pelvic tuck just one time in this sequence. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pelvic tuck. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Hands come to the chair. Stepping out into that plank position, holding plank. Breathe here. Squeeze your glutes. Hips go down, chest comes forward. Watch your depth. And then I want you to push back with those hips. Feet walk forward a little bit so you don't have any pressure on your hands. You're just using the chair to push that butt back the chest down towards the floor. Very gently, stepping forward to the front of your chair, squeeze your glutes, rolling up the spine, shoulders coming back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pelvic tuck. Inhale, reach up. Reach those arms as far as you can up towards the ceiling. And when you exhale, those hands come down to the chair. Remember, you can have fists if you'd like. Stepping out to that plank position. Hips can come down, chest comes forward, squeeze those glutes. And then the hips come back. Hi, bud. Feet come forward, and then you can release those hands. Breathing into the hamstrings and the calves probably. So in this position, it's called walk the dog. So essentially this is downward dog is what you're doing. So I just want you to bend one knee, keep the other leg straight. You'll feel that stretch. And then I want you to straighten the right knee and bend the left. Very gently here, keep the shoulders relaxed. I want you to bend one knee, straighten the other. Breathe into the hamstring. And then switch. Both knees will be decently straight, pushing the hips back. And then I want you to come forward, squeezing the glutes, standing position, shoulders are back. So we're going to add a lunge position into that sequence. So again, you're quite close to that chair. Inhale, nice and tall. Exhale, hands come together into a pelvic tilt. Inhale, tall. Exhale, hands come down to the chair. Stepping out into a plank position. Hold that plank. What I want you to do is step forward with the right foot. You shouldn't be able to see your toes. That's how much it's underneath the chair. And I want you to bring those fingers up, so it's just the fingertips touching the chair. And I want you to push down into that back leg. If you have the balance, you can come up so your hands are on the thigh, or you can reach those arms up towards the ceiling. This is the advanced version, so do be careful with this posture. If your hands are on your thigh or on the chair, I want you to come back down so that we can switch to the other side. So most of the weight goes on the arms, so you can step back into plank. That left foot comes forward. You won't be able to see your toes. Feel free to reposition this back leg if you'd like. What you're looking for is bending into that front knee enough that your fingertips can be on the chair, or hands on the quad, or arms up towards the ceiling. Breathe deep. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Hands come back to that chair. Most of your weight goes onto those hands to step back into plank. What I want you to do is upward dog. So drop the hips. Look up. Squeeze those glutes. And downward dog. You might have to walk forward those feet a little bit. Pushing the hips back. So if you're feeling a little dizzy, you can do what I'm doing, which is your head just kind of stays up a little bit because I have vertigo issues. But if you don't have dizziness issues, you can relax the head down towards the floor and breathe that way. I want you to step all the way to the front of the chair, shoulders coming back and down. Do that one more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pelvic tuck. Inhale, reach up. Spread the fingers wide. Exhale, forward fold. Hands come to the chair or fists. Depends on your wrists, okay? Stepping out into that plank position. Squeeze your glutes. Breathe here. Bring your right foot in front of you. You can walk that back leg back just a little bit. Try to get just fingertips so your chest is facing straight ahead. If you have a little bit more balance, you can have your hands on the thigh. You're kind of pushing back into that heel a little bit. It's a little bit bent in the knee. It does not touch the floor. Front knee is quite bent. If you'd like, you can also reach those arms up over the head. Breathe here. Hands come back down to the chair. Stepping out into that plank position, squeeze your glutes. Left foot coming forward. Reposition that back leg if you have to. Chest faces forward. You can have your hands on your quad if you'd like, or up over the head. Pushing down to that back heel. Front knee bends. Hands come down to the chair. Stepping out into that plank position. Squeeze your glutes. Drop the hips. Push the hips back into downward dog. Walk those feet forward so you can take all that pressure off of your hands. Step all the way to the front of the chair. Shoulders coming back and down. We're going to do two different versions here. One is quite advanced. Definitely requires balance. If you are alone and you've never done this before, do not do it. Okay? I will show you the seated version, but this one's a little bit of balance. It's a hamstring stretch using the chair. So I do want you to move that chair right beside a wall that does not move, or beside a couch that does not move. Essentially, what I would like to see is you're able to lift that leg, and it's the lifting of this leg that can be quite difficult. So have the hand on the wall, little bit of bend in the supporting leg. I want you to pull your toe towards you. Nice and tall, inhale, and when you exhale, I want you to reach forward. Now this can be a lot, so take your time with this. If you do have the balance, if you are living with somebody that's around so they can help you if you fall, okay? But do be safe. If you're used to this position, because we did do this in our senior boot camp quite a bit, you can have both arms reaching forward, and they might be on the thigh, they might be on the shin, they might be on the foot. Your choice. But I do suggest always having that wall there in case you need it. Breathe into that leg. The torso comes up, bend the knee, and then you can bring it down. Now, if you're okay with that and you've been doing that, you're going to switch to that other side, reaching forward. Use the wall or both hands on the leg. If you have not done this before, if you have balance issues, mobility issues in the hip, and you're alone, I would highly recommend you sit on the edge of the chair. With that leg, you're going to extend out, and I want you to reach forward. So whichever version you want, go ahead and do that on the other leg. The knee decently straight. Inhale nice and tall. Exhale, reach forward. So even if you're seated, it might just be on the thigh, the shin, the ankle. You can, if you'd like, reach forward with both arms. Breathe into it, and either if you're using the chair or seated, I want you to pull that toe towards you, and you will get an immediate shot in the back of the calf. Okay. So do be careful. Torso comes up first, bend the knee, and then come back to that standing position. Good. This one again, it's range of motion. I will show you the modified version and the chair, which is definitely a little bit harder. Oh, of course, Eve has chosen this time to play fetch. Go fetch. Okay. So essentially, if you're using the chair in the modified version, so again, your balance is off, you are alone. I want both of your hands to come into that chair position. You're in a plank position, And you're going to bring that right foot to the outside of that chair and lean into it. So you use the chair for balance, for support. That right knee is bent, the left leg is extended out behind you. So go ahead and try this now. We'll be doing 2 separate versions of this. So you can do both, and then if you do this video again, then you can modify second time around. I want you to push back into that plank position, and then that left leg goes to the outside of the chair. So I'm on the left outside broad of that chair. If your wrists hurt, you can make fists. Essentially what you're looking for is to push forward and down into those hips, nice and tall in the torso. Watch that leg. Coming back to a plank position. If this is okay with you, you're going to go back to that right leg on the right side. If you have a wall, your balance is okay, you are with somebody, you can do the advanced version, using the wall for support. Your right foot goes on the chair, and I want you to bend that knee like this. So you're going to get quite a nice angle in those hips. But again, if you can't lift the foot onto the chair, you're just doing the one that's right beside the chair. Breathe. Push back. And you're switching to the other side. So if you're switching to the other side in plank position, it'll look like this. Left foot to the outer edge of the chair. If you want more balance, you can get the leg up to that chair. Then it's the left foot using the wall for support, bending into that hip and knee. This heel, whatever it needs to do to come forward. Okay, so if you have that balance, you can have the heel on the ground. You're trying to stretch out the quads. Pushing back. So everybody's going to come to the standing position, and I want you to just kick those legs out a few times. Good. So I'm going to show you this angle so you can see what I'm doing with my feet. But essentially what you're trying to do is open up the hips using the chair. So this is a triangle posture with the chair in front of you to take weight off of the back. You start in neutral position, shoulders are back and down. What I'm looking for is to walk your feet out as wide as possible. So that might be a little bit for right now. That's okay. What you're doing is you're bending forward so your hands are on that chair. Then, if you'd like, you can walk the feet out a little bit more. Your toes will point inward a little bit, heels are outward. Don't go too far. Okay? Because if you're like, whoa! Okay. So don't have that happen. Just, it's to a stretching capacity, but not to full splits. I'm not training you guys to do splits today. So with those toes facing inward and you are as wide as possible, maybe this is enough of a stretch for you. That's where you stay. Breathe into it. If this hurts your wrists, you can make a fist. What you're looking for is deep inhale, and then exhale, you kind of push back in the hips a little bit and sink down a little bit more. So if you can manage it, your forearms are going to go down onto the floor. So keep doing this posture. I'm going to switch angles here so you can see what I mean. Wide stance. You might have your forearms down like this. Straight back. Your weight is kind of on your hands and your feet. Breathing through the belly. Maybe you can't get down this low, that's okay. You might look like this or with fists because your wrists hurt. That's totally fine. Breathe into this posture. And what we're going to do is just kind of bend the right knee. Left leg stays straight. Straighten the right leg. Bend the left knee. So you will shift a little bit to the side. And just keep going at your own pace, bending the right knee. Bending the left knee. If you're on your forearms, you'll be down like this. Pushing that butt back. Stretching the inside of the leg. Now to come out of this, I want you to come up onto your hands first, and then bend the knees a little bit so you can baby walk those feet back to center. Bend the knees, and then roll up the spine, squeezing your glutes. Shoulders are back and down. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to come to a seated position. And we're going to stretch out the lower back a little bit of the legs, a little bit of those neck and shoulders. So again, you're kind of on the edge of your chair, just so you have that range of motion. With your right leg, I want you to cross your right ankle over the left knee. When you're doing this, try not to have the foot do this, because then the ankle can collapse and it doesn't really work out so well. You want the solid part of that bone on the knee. Depending on your mobility, you will probably want to lean back and it'll probably look like this. You work your way into this posture. If you're like this, essentially all I'm asking you to do is try and sit up tall, and that will be really big stretch in the hip. If you can sit up tall and your knees like this, when you inhale, the spine straightens, and when you exhale, you lean forward a little bit. You can, if you'd like, also push down into that knee. It depends on your knee mobility and your hip mobility. You'll probably feel this in the bum, in the hip area. But if you have really tight knees or knee replacement surgery, it might not bend anymore out of this position. So just to your own capacity, I want you to sit up nice and tall. And when you exhale, lean forward. Stay here. Inhale nice and tall. Exhale, lean forward a little bit more. So you never give up the ground that you gain in that exhale. A lot of the time people like to go back and forth and back and forth. You go forward, you pause, you go forward again, you go forward again. So you work into that stretch so that every time that you do this, you're getting a little bit better. Try and relax the shoulders too, because everyone tries to be like this, and just shoulders are relaxed. Breathing through the belly. And we're gonna switch to that other side. So that foot comes down, crossing the left ankle over that right knee. They might not be equal, especially if you had hip replacement surgery or knee replacement. One might be like, oh, that was no problem, and the other one you can barely get crossed over the ankle, but it will get better. This is the put your sock on position, so try not to lose this posture. Sit up nice and tall. Exhale, push forward. Sit up nice and tall. Exhale, push forward. Breathe deep. You can, if you'd like, push down into this knee, but you're still breathing through the belly, relaxing the shoulders, nice straight spine. Lean back first, then bring that foot down. Shoulders come back and down. We're just going to stretch out the obliques a little bit, and then we're going to be doing a forward fold. So I'm just going to move the camera down just a smidgen here so that you can see my feet and my arms. Making sure you're on the edge of your chair. Feet are about hips distance apart. Sitting up as tall as you can in that chair. What I want you to do is take your right arm, place your right hand behind your head, so you stretch out that chest and the shoulder. That left hand is going to fall down beside the chair. Deep inhale. Exhale, I want you to tilt to your left. Breathe into this posture. If this is too much, that hand can be on the chair to help you, or on your leg if you'd like. But you're trying to get extension in the rib cage. Come back to center. We're going to switch to the other side. So your right hand comes down, left hand behind the head, sit up nice and tall, stretch. Exhale, tilt to the side, reaching down. Try not to crunch forward. The chest is forward, tilting to the side like there's a pane of glass right here. You can't come forward. into it. Come back to center. Shoulders back and down. Feet are going to be a little bit wider than the chair. So pretty much as wide as you can, which is why you have to be on the edge of your chair, because we're going to be doing a forward fold. So width is up to you, but the wider the better. Inhale, shoulders come back and down. When you exhale, tuck the chin down towards the floor. Arms come in between the legs, and you're going to slowly roll down the spine. Don't fall off your chair. So if you have to scoot back a little bit, that's okay too. What you're looking for is your fingertips down towards the ground, or your hands, or bending the elbows. Relax the head. Breathe here. Deep inhale. Exhale, forward fold a little bit more. That chest goes lower towards the ground. Stay in this position, just listen to my voice. I want your hands to go to your knees first, and then you use your arms to help roll up the spine, nice and slow, shoulders coming up last. Breathe deep, and just kind of sit here for a second, because you can get a little bit dizzy with that forward fold posture. So just breathe, relax the shoulders. And we're going to open up the chest just a little bit. So scoot forward just a smidge. Arms going to be out at shoulder height. This is kind of like seated cat-cow. When you exhale, I want you to curve the spine, reach those arms forward. And when you exhale, those elbows come behind you, open the chest. Exhale, reach those arms as far forward as possible, curve the spine. Exhale, elbows come back, arch. So keep going, I'll show you this angle too. When you exhale, curve. And when you inhale, elbows go back, arch. Curve, reach forward, and arch. Hands come back down by the shoulders. Shoulder circle a couple times. We're going to stretch out the neck and the shoulders here. So do be careful. The neck can get really tight. You can have arthritis in the spine, so be gentle, start slow. Once you work into it, it should be a little bit better the more that you do this. With your shoulders back in neutral position, the neck is in neutral position. Don't move the body. I want you to tilt your head to the right. Breathe here. You should feel the stretch, the side of the neck. Inhale through the belly, exhale through the belly. Bring your head back to center and tilt your head all the way to the left. Breathe deep. Come back to center. I want you to shoulder circle. We're going to lead with the chin. Don't move the torso. Look up towards the ceiling. You should feel the stretch in the front of your throat. And then I want you to look down. Chin tucks in towards the chest. Staying here on your exhale, breathing into the stretch. Shoulders back, head comes up to neutral position. And I want you to do one shoulder circle just to realign everything. And we're going to go back into that shoulder check posture. So don't move anything in the body, it's just the head. Inhale nice and tall. Exhale, I want you to look over to your right. On your next exhale, try and look a little bit more over your shoulder without moving your chest and torso. Gently coming back to center. Breathe. And then I want you to turn your head all the way to the other side. Try not to move the shoulders. On your exhale, getting a little bit more of a twist. Coming back to center. Shoulder circle, back and down. We're going to do super quick breathing exercise. We tend to lose our lung capacity as we age, and that causes lots of problems. Sleep apnea is a huge one, but just a general shallow breathing. This is why pneumonia is a huge issue if you have to go into hospital, because we don't breathe as much as we should, and that's the reason why exercise and cardio are like amazing for you. So do keep up with those, but to just anytime you are sitting and you remember, because that's the biggest issue usually with these kinds of things, is even if you're about to go to sleep, I want you to practice breathing deep. So it is through your stomach, it is through your rib cage, you're sitting up nice and tall. I want you to inhale for 3 seconds, hold for 3 seconds, and exhale for 3 seconds, and I will walk you through it. Hands are on your legs. I want you to exhale all of the air out of your body. And I want you to inhale. 1, 2, 3, and hold. 1, 2, 3, exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. One more time. Inhale. 2, 3. Hold. Exhale. 2, 3. And now you can breathe normal. So what it does is it slows down your heart rate, and it just kind of brings your body into more of a calm space. But it's that expansion of the rib cage and the belly and the lungs, and you're holding it and stretching out your lungs, and then you're exhaling. And it can be difficult for 3 seconds to do that, but the more you do it, the more relaxed you are, the easier it becomes. And it is a beautiful, beautiful thing that you can do when you're seated or lying down just before bed. So one last one here. Your shoulders relax away from your ears. Make sure your feet are about hips distance apart. Hands are on the knees. Head is in neutral position. Breathing through the belly. I want you to just check in with your body. How do your ankles feel? Are your knees relaxed? How does your lower back feel? Maybe you might have to slightly lean back a little bit or forward. Chest is open, shoulders are relaxed. Head is in neutral position. Deep inhale. And exhale. And now I want you to take a nice deep stretch. You're going to reach your arms up overhead, stretch out your legs and your toes. Breathe here. I know I have ridiculously gross elbows. Sorry about that. I don't mean to creep you out. I have like double jointed hyperextended elbows, so I'll try and be more aware of that in my next videos. But hopefully you're feeling stretched out, you're not too sore. If you do have a little bit of pain in the joints or the muscles, it might just be like a, hey, I haven't done that, should I be doing that? The answer is yes, but to your own capacity. So do be careful with your own injuries. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Do let me know how it went for you. I'm very interested to see how many people do this video and if you liked it, and I can definitely do more in the future. So I hope you do have a wonderful day. Stay nice and stretched out, stay happy, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.